Hello and welcome to coverage here on the TC Hub and all available platforms as well. I'm your alternative host Russman, and as we bring in Millwall against Crystal Palace, your match commentator standing by is JB, ready for kick-off. Looking forward to what should be a very good game. There's some already matches kicked off in the Emirates FA Cup third round action, which we'll go through, which I'll tell you about. Some just kicking off have just kicked off about 7 or so minutes ago. And one kicked off at 12:15 as well. Just to tell you, in the game that kicked off at 12:15, that is between Mansfield Town and Middlesbrough, and Middlesbrough are 2-0 up. Ikpeazu on 4 minutes, and then Boyd Muntz on his Middlesbrough debut on 14 with the goals at Field Mill. And in League One, Wycombe Wanderers are trailing by a goal to nil to Sunderland. It was an own goal by their goalkeeper, David Stockdale. Elsewhere in the FA Cup, kick-off at half 12, so around about 8 or so minutes gone in these matches. Currently, Bristol City 0, Fulham 0, Burnley 0, Huddersfield Town 0, Coventry City 0, Derby County 0, Hartlepool United 0, Blackpool 0 as well. We'll keep you across that one. Our featured game is Millwall against Crystal Palace, and for the first time this afternoon, let's say a very warm welcome to our coverage of the FA Cup today. It's none other than our very own JB. He's standing by, and he's standing by with some all-important team news. JB, good afternoon. What's the team news for Millwall and Crystal Palace? Bit key news from Millwall and Crystal Palace this afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody. But I'll tell you the key news. No Jed Wallace for injury, but still a good side there with Long in goal. They're playing a back three as it happens with Hutchison, Pearce, the captain, and Cooper. Billy Mitchell, just to point you in the direction, Billy Mitchell is a lifelong Millwall fan and will play in the midfield, central midfield alongside George Saville. As for Crystal Palace, big news for them. No Welsh Saha. He's playing for the Ivory Coast at the African Cup of Nations alongside Burnley's very own Maxwell Cornet. But they are going 4-3-3 as well. Both teams actually matching up in formation. But Conor Gallagher returns after missing the defeat to West Ham on New Year. And he plays in a three-man midfield alongside Will Hughes and Jeff Schrupp. So I think, so two key players for either side missing, Russ. I think that it could actually tip the balance very equal now because I think it could be a very close game. 11th in either division, Millwall 11th in the Championship, Palace 11th in the Premier League. So something like in the region of about 11 or 12 places between them in the pyramid. So there's not about 21 places between them in the pyramid. But in terms of derby and in terms of a local derby, there's never anything in it. And Gary Rowett's team, I've got to say, Russ, have done really well on a very low budget, it's got to be said. Patrick Vieira's done okay, 11th place. Considering what he had to inherit from Roy Hodgson, lots of players out of contracts and everything else in the summer, I think at the moment he's done a remarkably good job. And I'm sure 3 times cup winner, of course, Vieira, in 1998, 2002, 3 and 9, and of course 4 times FA Cup winner, in fact, 2002, 2003, and 2005, where he scored that winning penalty against Manchester United. We'll be back soon for the kickoff. For the next couple of minutes, it's back to us.
Yes, and I'm just seeing the Crystal Palace players in the tunnel, and the kid that they're wearing as they're just about to come out in a minute looks to me, the outfield kid that is, looks to me a bit like Coventry City's for Crystal Palace today. Sky blue and white for Crystal Palace today, as the team's almost get ready. Millwall in their traditional colours as we get ready. But there's been another goal in the FA Cup, but none yet at Turf Moor, JB, I can tell you. It has come at Hartlepool United. It's Hartlepool United 0, Blackpool 1. Keshi Anderson with the goal on 8 minutes. The teams are just about to emerge from the tunnel at the Den. And let's go back over to your match commentator for action. It's all the way back to the Den and it's back to your match commentator, JB.
Thank you, Russ, who's down at Stamford Bridge today for our second live commentary. You'll be able to hear that around about 5:20 as Chelsea take on Chesterfield. Good afternoon from South Bermondsey, the home of the London Dockers 100 years ago. Of course, all that industry has gone by the wayside since. But Millwall, the Isle of Dogs, proper London flavour, and it's South London. It's a South London derby to beat no other. It's a fierce South London derby between Millwall and Crystal Palace, who have appeared in 3 cup finals between them. But and they faced on each occasion Manchester United, Palace in 1990 and 6 years ago, and Millwall back in 2004 as well. The atmosphere is building to a real crescendo. It's absolutely teeming down with rain here, so we're just waiting for the tides to come out of the tunnel, as Russ says. But terrific atmosphere, as it always is on third round cup day. Last night on the TCM, you'll see Mike Harneman's commentary of Swindon Town's defeat against a very rampant Manchester City, and one to watch for the future there in Cole Palmer. This is the second of 5 live commentaries. We brought you one last night. We'll bring you the Chesterfield one today. Then I'm back at the City Ground with Paul James tomorrow, with Trevor making his long-awaited debut as presenter, and then Trevor himself will be at Old Trafford on Monday night, bringing you Manchester United against Aston Villa. That is Patrick Vieira. Just seen. Let's go through the 2 lineups very quickly before we go. Let's go through the 2 lineups very quickly for you then. As the teams now, as I say, emerge from this cauldron that is the Den. Always a very special occasion, this really is. And now let's take a check on those 2 teams. Millwall playing 4-3-3. George Long in goal for them. And then a back 3 of Sean Hutchinson, Alex Pearce, the skipper, and Jake Cooper. Then a 4-man midfield of Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, number 24, who's a boiled Millwall fan, so playing for his boiled heroes today. Used to sit in the stands here at Millwall. George Saville, the former Wolves player, and Scott Malone. Shinji Ojo, Benny Kofobi, and Tom Bradshaw lead the line in attack. For Crystal Palace, their line-up as follows is Jack Butland in goal, Joe Ward, Joachim Henderson, Mark Gucci, and Tyrick Mitchell on the back 4. Then it's a 3-man midfield with Conor Gallagher comes back, having missed the West Ham defeat on New Year. Will Hughes and Jeffrey Schrupp, Michael Olise, John Philip Miteta, and Abarechi Eze are the attackers. As we are about to get underway, we'll run through the substitutes when we can, because we're near enough at kick-off. Let me bring you the officials. No VAR today, thank you. Thank the heavens for that, because at least then I don't have to put myself forward on any big calls. So the referee today comes from Greater Manchester. That's Anthony Taylor. And then Gary Bezic and Adam Nunn are the officials, the assistant referees. And Michael Tiggy is our 4th official this afternoon. And as Russ was quite rightly pointed out, Palace in it's more like Blackburn Rovers colours, because they're in sort of blue and like blue and white hearts with blue shorts. It reminds me more of Blackburn Rovers than it does Coventry City. Maybe Coventry a bit in the shorts. Millwall in their traditional dark blue with white shorts. We're sat up behind the Barry Kitchener stand, where Billy Mitchell used to watch his beloved Millwall. So we're all set to go. Anthony Taylor, the referee, will blow 2 whistles. First of all, the players will take a knee in the ongoing battle against equality and race in football. No room for racism in any walk of life, let alone football. There goes the knee. And in fact, the Millwall players are not taking the knee. They're not taking the knee. It's their choice, but the Palace players certainly did. We'll read into that if you will, but never mind. The cup tie is up and running. So it's Palace in the blue and white half shirts to get us underway from the Den. Second of our five bomb FA Cup ties on the TC Hub. With me, JB, I'll be then doing the next one tomorrow at Nottingham Forest and Arsenal. Arsenal wearing white shirts, incidentally, in view of the recent knife crimes that have been taking place. It's sort of a zero tolerance approach against knife crime in the London area. So that's the reason why they'll be wearing white tomorrow at Arsenal instead of their red and white usual shirts. Anyway, here come Palace again with easy getting the ball forward. And then knocked away again by Millwall. Looked like a handball there against Ojo there, but the referee allowing it to go on as Ojo goes down the right-hand side for Millwall. He's got three waiting in the middle, and the ball deflects, and it's a corner quick already to Millwall in the opening exchanges. There's been a goal in League One. Mendetti has equalised at Adams Park for Wickham. 1-1. We'll be keeping you across all the lunchtime kickoffs in the FA Cup for League One, including Burnley against Huddersfield Town. So any Burnley fans listening in, don't worry, we'll have your game covered with latest scores. Meanwhile, here in our live match, Millwall versus Palace, Millwall have yielded the first quarter of the game. I think this is going to be a very evenly balanced cup tie. This plenty of endeavour as the corner comes in from the right hand side. It's a D1 in. It almost caught Jack Butland out. It hit the crossbar and flew over the top. Wicked corner that was from the right hand side there. I think it might have been Scott Malone with it actually. It was a really good corner, and Butland wasn't certain, and it hits the top of the crossbar. So a terrific start for Millwall. Well, it could have been a terrific start for the Lions inside the opening 2 minutes of this third round game. Remember, it's got to be played to a finish today. No replays in the third or fourth rounds of this season's FA Cup. They're hoping to have replays back in place for the fifth round, and that's only due to the fact that we've had so many cancellations across the leagues in the last sort of month or so because of the Omicron COVID-19 isolations, which is why the FA for the third and fourth rounds have scrapped the replay. So we will get a decision here today. No replay, which would have been a week on Tuesday, potentially at Selhurst Park. So we have to play the ties to a finish today, all 32 of them, all weekend. So remember, we have that possibility of extra time as Mateta gets the ball back, and now Ojo wins it for Millwall. And now number 4 now can get it away. That's Hutchinson. Ball out of play. Will be a Palace ball over on the far side. Not quite a full house. There's a few empty seats over on the far side, I've noticed. And there's the bottom tier of the stand away to my left is sparsely populated as well. There's Palace fans in the top tier, and that's same stand away to my left-hand side. And it's quite back to the Barry Kitchener stand, named after one of Millwall's greatest ever players. And of course, one of Millwall's greatest ever fans these days, well, used to be one of Millwall's greatest fans, was Max Bygraves, the singer. Of course, every time Millwall score a goal, his tune about Millwall sprouts out around this famous old New Den ground. Well, I say that it's sort of a new Den. Of course, they were at the old Den until 1993, and then had to move Old Seater. That was an intimidating place at times. Here's Sabo now in possession on halfway for Millwall, but he loses possession that time to Tyrick Mitchell. Now Garrick sends it forward. I was very impressed with him when I last commentated on Palace, actually, almost a month and a half ago against Burnley. Should have scored a couple of goals in that game as well. There's been a red card in the game at Mansfield. Sol Bamber's been sent off for Middlesbrough. Mansfield losing 2-0 to Middlesbrough, who are going very well under Chris Wilder, who's just won Manager of the Month, incidentally, for the Championship. But Sol Bamba has been sent off in that game. So Middlesbrough, 2 goals clear, but now are a man light. Sol Bamba sent off. Here's Will Hughes on the ball now for Palace. Blonde-haired, mop of blonde hair, Iche, who they got for quite a hefty fee for QPR, £21 million. I think they paid for him a year and a half ago. First season really blighted by a long injury layoff, which hasn't really helped his cause. But he's certainly got something about him, and I think he's going to be, if fully fit, Vieira utilises him properly. I think they've got a really good, exciting player there as he challenges with that one against Jake Cooper, but Cooper won the ball very well. The ball now knocked back once more. This is Scott Malone now on the left-hand side. Gets a long ball now looking towards number 9 there. That's Tom Bradshaw. Of course, no Jed Wallace, who's been through injury. He's been very sought after, Jed Wallace. A lot of bigger clubs. Have been looking at him. Apparently, we've had news that the red card has been overturned at Mansfield. So there's been a bit of controversy there. Was it a red card? Was it? Well, you'll be able to see on the MLTD a bit later on, of course. Don't forget, later on the TCM. We're across all TCM platforms, not on Twitter anymore, we're told. So Twitter, we are not on. But we are available on these platforms from now on in. On YouTube, on the TCM itself, TCM2, JB Sports, my channel, JDAT Football, Storm FM. And of course, we're on Twitch, not Twitter or Periscope anymore. Just to remind you, you cannot tune in now to our Twitter handle, but it's still Commentary Live 1. So if you want to check out all the latest news, TCM. Russ has got the Twitter handle to a T now. TCM Commentary Live 1 is our Twitter account. And if you want to check out the website, the Facebook page is www.facebook.com/the Commentary Hub if you want to like the page. Of course, whatever YouTube platform or Twitch platform you're on, please don't forget to give this video a like, will you? 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes gone at the new den. And it's Millwall 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the South London derby here in the FA Cup third round. Big crowd here. Plenty of Millwall fans. Always passionate about their side. Sometimes a minority of them do go over the top. But they do support their team passionately. Here's Ojo now on the ball. Will Hughes with a very committed challenge on him. And the ball's been kept in play on the far side here as Iche now gets the ball back to Hughes. It was a very committed challenge there by the former Derby and Watford midfielder. Came from Watford in the summer for £5 million. And I do honestly think that Burnley should have gone in after him, but that's another story. It was a very committed challenge by the youngsters. Come through the rank, as I say, came through the youth ranks at Derby County. Definitely got the ball. Anthony Taylor said it was okay. Did catch Ojo on the follow through, but the referee was happy enough to let the game flow on. Meanwhile, while we were watching a replay, it's a free kick which Alex Pearce, the captain, will take. That's Anthony Taylor, the referee from Greater Manchester, in an all-pink shirt today, as the ball's lofted into that Palace penalty area. Patrick Vieira's first ever cup game as a manager. There's the cross coming into the area, and a shot over the top from Benny Kafome. After some good work down the left-hand side from Tom Bradshaw, he put a lovely cut back across. And Kafome with the left foot just shooting into the Crystal Palace fans. Away to my left-hand side, and a goal kick to Crystal Palace. No sentiment for Jack Butler to make a save. Been kept out the side by the former Vincent Kwaita, who's not amongst the substitutes. It's Barilowski who's going to be the goalkeeper. I will read out the subs in a minute or two if you do like your substitutes knocking about. Don't forget, any goals that go in the lunchtime games, we'll keep you across. And of course, Russ will be with you at Stamford Bridge at around about 5:20 to round up all the afternoon's 3 o'clock games as well as the earlier ones. And to bring you live commentary, certainly of Chelsea and Chesterfield, one of the non-leaguers. So we're following the non-leaguers a little bit this afternoon across the FA Cup. 4 non-leaguers in the draw, but Morecambe, of course, play Tottenham as well. What a tie that is for Morecambe. They're not, of course, they're not non-league, they're League One, but for a club of Morecambe side to get Tottenham at Tottenham's ground, that's quite a good one. There's a notable 3 o'clock FA Cup tie you may notice. Leicester, the Olders, and of course Watford. Of course, should be a cracking game later this afternoon at the KP. But here at the Den, we've got Championship against Premier League, and here's number 24, Billy Mitchell, the Millwall fanatic. Here he gets the ball back now from Hutchinson, and now Cooper has to go back, uses his captain Alex Pearce, former Reading defender, of course. Great atmosphere around this great traditional Den ground here in South Bermondsey on the Isle of Dogs. This was the place of the London Dockers, as I said, over 100 years ago. And the Millwall fans wanted a free kick. They're not going to get one. I'm afraid. Here's Will Hughes now on the ball now, midway inside his own half. Still 0-0 if you've just joined us here. But Millwall have hit the bar. There's Gary Rowett. He's had a good, decent career. I thought he was unfairly treated at Birmingham when he was sacked when the club was 7th, and they almost paid for it in the end. There's been a stoppage because Conor Gallagher has received an injury to his right eye, or his left eye, as I think it is. It's left eye. There's Anthony Taylor, who had no option but to stop it. And I've given him a lot of stick over the last 12 months, especially for his handling of the European Championship game between Italy and Austria at Wembley last summer, where I thought he was absolutely pathetic. Let's hope he doesn't have a poor game today. No VAR to help him, of course. There's Patrick Vieira, first ever game as a manager in the FA Cup. Managed in France before without too much success. But his success as a player really makes him, he's a hungry man still, even in management, Vieira. He has had a decent start with Palace. When you consider that Vieira has had to practically get new players in, because a lot of the players that he inherited were out of contract. It was a friendly arm from George Sabel which caused the injury. It was nothing severe, nothing malicious from George Sabel's point of view, but that's why nobody's even tried to appeal anything or tried to challenge the referee's authority or in any way. And of course, he's had to change shirt because, of course, now under the laws of the game, you can't have blood on the shirt, especially now we're in the COVID. Now we're in the COVID restrictions and everything else. It's even more so these days. Any goals that go in the other games, plus League One, which is 1-1 incidentally between Wickham and Sunderland, we'll let you know. Still no goals, I believe, at Turf between Burnley and Huddersfield. That's going to be a very tight old game, that one, as we go past the 12-minute mark. So we've had about a minute and a half for stoppages. Just to remind you, Russ will have commentary at Stamford Bridge at 5:30 of the Chelsea-Chesterfield game. Here's a good run now down the far side by McNamara, and it's a throw-in level with the 18-yard box to Millwall. Now, every time I've covered the Millwall Cup tie in the past, whether it was for my own channel or for the TCM or whatever, there's always been a thriller here down at the Den. 3-2 against Everton in 2019, and the last Millwall game I ever did was that quarter-final in the same year when they were 2-0 up and coasting, or seemingly coasting against Brighton. Then they came back to 2-2 with a mistake from David Martin, and then there was the penalty drama, one of the great cup quarter-finals I think I've ever covered. So we don't get dull games here at the Den, so it's not about one for us to choose, really. Tomorrow I'll be back up at the City Ground. Tomorrow I'll be up at Nottingham at the City Ground with Paul James in the commentary box, and Trevor will be alongside us making his TCM debut as presented. And then Trevor will be going up to Old Trafford with Chris Whiteman. We think, we hope anyway. We're still trying to get him on, and Russell will be presented rather than myself, and then we'll be bringing you live on the TCM alternate commentary of Manchester United against Aston Villa on Monday evening. Of course, tomorrow in the show in our live match at Forest, we'll have comprehensive coverage of the fourth round draw for you, and Russ will take you through that for us. And then, of course, we'll have the whole match between Forest and Arsenal at 5 o'clock from the City Ground with me, Paul James, and Trevor. As the ball comes out to the far side, and that was number 3, Tyrick Mitchell. He was tackled there by Danny McNamara. Millwall team who have really built foundations with no money whatsoever. Money's obviously tight, certainly down in the Championship. If you're not one of the teams that have just dropped out the Premier League, then you've got to cut your cost accordingly, and that's what Millwall have done. And they've built a really decent team with squad spirit. That's second to none. But Millwall got a corner to defend as we hit the quarter hour mark here on the TCM, JB Sports, TCM2, Storm FM, and JDAC Football and Twitch. Millwall 0, Crystal Palace 0 in the third round of the FA Cup. Our second of 5 live commentaries this weekend. We brought you Swindon last night. Here comes the corner. Shot to Hughes. Now Eze again. Back to the Back to Mitchell, into the penalty area the ball goes. And that will stay to play. Well, it'll be hooked out for a throw-in anyway, thanks to Hutchinson. Or McNamara, I should say. So we've hit the corner hour mark. Millwall will hit the bar direct from a corner taken by Scott Malone. But apart from that, of course, Avomi has had an effort over the top. Palace haven't really threatened as an attacking force so far. And just a reminder, if you haven't seen it already, that we will go to extra time and penalties. There's been another update. Let me bring you up to date with Jay Rodriguez. Yes, well done. Jay Rodriguez, who's finding cup goals easy to come by these days, rather than league goals. Well, he's just put Burnley ahead against Huddersfield Town. So I'm a very happy Claret, even though I'm at Millwall today. I'm delighted that Jay Rodriguez has put Burnley 1-0 up at home to Huddersfield Town in the third round of the FA Cup. Jay Rodriguez Jay Rodriguez scoring after 28 minutes. So Burnley 1, Huddersfield promotion chasing, Huddersfield 0. So great news from Turport. And in the heart of a guy here sat in the commentary box, high up in the Barry Kitchener stand, freezing cold, wet, trying to keep his cup of coffee warm whilst bringing you live this terrific, we hope, cup goal. Oh, he's lost it there, and the goal is showing a Bobby, and it's a mistake by Jack Butland, and Millwall at it again in the FA Cup. Jack Butland, what was he thinking of? He should have just put his foot through the ball. He dawdled, lost his footing on the wet surface, and Benny Kafami had a Christmas present, a very early Christmas present. At this time of the year anyway, Jack Butland, what was he doing? There it is again. Palace seemed to be no danger. The ball was played back. And for whatever reason, Butland just took far too long. He was muscled off the ball. May have slipped on the turf as well. And Benny Kafome has absolutely cashed in on it. And Millwall, who have been marginally the better team, more chances created, deservedly take the lead. In the third round of the FA Cup, Palace are in big trouble now and they need a reaction. What were they doing? What was the goalkeeper doing? Millwall in front, Benny Kafome after 17 minutes. What a turn up for the Bucks here at the Den. 1-0 Millwall. And a free kick to Crystal Palace, which Ward is taken quickly. Now Anderson. Now Mark Geary. He needs something now, Palace now, because Millwall have got that lead, and when they're at the Den, they are a different proposition. They are a super team when they're up for it and doing well. They've got a good manager that really believes in his squad, gets the best out of what he's got, Gary Rowett. But the one thing you don't want to do as an away team is give Millwall gifts. And unfortunately, Jack Butler, the former Birmingham City goalkeeper, very highly rated, had a bad time at Stoke, and it looks as if he's had another bad moment here. 1-0 Millwall lead, but you have to say Millwall threatened more than Palace have. I don't think Palace have even had a shot yet in the entire game. We've been playing 19 minutes, and Millwall looking absolutely superb on the ball. They deserve their lead. Here's McNamara going forward, and here's Ojo now. Ojo's cross-turned behind by Geary, and a corner it is to Millwall, or throwing rather to Millwall. Well, the FA Cup never, ever seems to disappoint, and this boisterous crowd at the New Den are going absolutely mad. 19 and a half minutes gone. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0. A mistake by Jack Butland, and Benny Kafome cashes in. Throw to Millwall, to be taken by Billy Mitchell, who takes the throw-ins. And he's got a long throw on him. It's going to be shaped up now. Palace will have to watch themselves at the back. Here's Mitchell's long throw into the area. And the ball breaks. Oh, and it was a chance inside the penalty area for George Samuel, who stabbed it goalwards with his left foot. And if Samuel had made a bit more contact to that, Millwall would have been in heaven. It was a bad backheader by Mark Geary, and well, that could have led to even more trouble for Palace, who really do struggle, or they have seemed to struggle in the past without Wilfried Zaha, who's, as you know, is at the African Cup of Nations alongside Maxwell Cornet, they both play for the Ivory Coast. Maxwell Cornet, of course, plays for Burnley. He doesn't feature for Burnley today in their cup tie against Huddersfield, but they're not doing too badly without Maxwell today. 1-0 up. Jay Rodriguez, the scorer. Middlesbrough 2 up. Thought they had a man sent off, and then it was rescinded. Wycombe 1, and Blackpool are winning in their tie as well. Any other scores, we'll let you know as soon as I get word here at the Den. And a free kick to Palace, about 20 yards inside the Millwall half. Bradshaw, the offender. Tom Bradshaw has had a terrific first half so far. Mark Geary is the man. He's there. Oh, yes, it's a clear push from behind. I don't think there's much doubt about that one. So a free kick to Palace. There's been some more activity elsewhere in the FA Cup. Half-time score, Mansfield 0, Middlesbrough 2. That's half-time at Field Mill. So half-time there, just to confirm. Mansfield 0, Middlesbrough 2. Free kick to Palace. Conor Gallagher, who's been non-existent so far, was going to take it alongside Michael Elise. It's going to be Elise, in fact, with the left foot into the area. It goes. There's a crossing there. Schwab trying to shot from the edge of the area. Left footed, but he skips it well wide of the goal. To a lot of ironic cheers from the Millwall contingent inside this very, very passionate New Den crowd, and a goal kick to Millwall, who deservedly led this South London derby by a goal to 0. A terrific goal, a terrific moment for them. Not so for Jack Butland, of course, whose errors led to that goal. And we're coming up towards the halfway mark of the first half. There's been a goal in League One. Sam Vokes, a former Burnley player, still banging them in, even at his ripe old age. 2-1, Wycombe lead. Sam Vokes, 36 minutes against Sunderland, who are both teams right in the fray for promotion back to the Championship, of course. Here's the goal kick taken by George Long, who hasn't had a lot to do in this first 22.5 minutes of this first half. Across all TCM platforms, whether you're on TCM YouTube channel, JB Sports, JDAT Football, Storm FM, or TCM2, or Twitch. We're not on Periscope. Just to remind you that we're not on Periscope, and we're not on Twitter as from now either. So, just to let you know, folks, we're not on either Periscope or Twitter anymore. But we are on Twitch, and we are on all the YouTube platforms. TCM itself, JB Sports, JDAT Football, Storm FM, TCM2. And of course, our stream sponsor for the season is the Melon streaming app. If you want to know more about them, check out the website, www.melonstreamingapp.com. Here is Elise now for Crystal Palace. Plays the 1-2 in there with Mateta. Now Gallagher takes over. Ball on the right-hand side. Ward has to use Anderson. Anderson now back to Gaii. Gaii now. Getting out to Mitchell. Tyrese Mitchell, that is. Of course, there's a Mitchell apiece. Billy Mitchell, not to be confused with the EastEnders soap character. He's in the Millwall midfield, a boyhood Millwall fan. And boy, he must be enjoying life at the moment. So will Millwall fans everywhere. But here's a chance now for Jeffrey Shupp. Winging in on that left foot. He won't. Shupp shoots in a great save by Long. He didn't really. He parried it into the path of the Palace player. And I think it was smuggled behind for a corner to Palace. It was Shupp's shot. And maybe it was too much for Long to handle. He hit it with such ferocity. And Millwall had to smuggle it behind for a corner. So Palace have hit back strongly. First shot on target for the Eagles as they look to try and level the count in terms of the scoreline. Corner to Palace. Looks like Ize's going to take it. Anderson and Guy are forward. Here comes the corner into the penalty area. Nodded away there by Bradshaw. Here's Gallagher on the edge of the penalty area. Hooks it into the Millwall box. There might have been two Palace players offside, but the referee allowing it to go on because Millwall got possession. Ize now gets it on the far side, but what about that for play from Danny McNamara? And then Antoine, on top of the way he's played that so far, he's played so well. He's won his team a free kick. I have to say, Danny McNamara so far this opening 24-25 minutes has been absolutely superb. Free kick to Millwall. Foul there by Tyrese Mitchell. Did well to dispossess Ize. He's a real talent when he's on song and on form. But Danny McNamara is having a terrific game for Millwall here this afternoon. 25 gone here on all TCM platforms. Millwall 1, Palace 0, and a noisy dead here. The yellow card being brandished to Jeffrey Schlupp. It's presumably for speaking out of turn. Oh, get your breath back, folks. It's raining cats and dogs here in South Bermondsey this afternoon, but I tell you what, and it's very, very cold here in South London, but I tell you what, the temperature here at the Den is white hot. Millwall 1, Palace 0. And will we see more drama at Stamford Bridge a bit later on? Here's a chance now for Mateta now. He's got it down the right-hand side, but he's isolated. He has to do it alone. And there were 3 covering Millwall defenders, and really, it was him against 3 Millwall defenders, and I think you defended the 3 Millwall defenders there. As Samuel gets the ball forward, Afobe now, the scorer. Afobe now, running at his men. He's got Malone on the left-hand side. Here's got Malone, back to Medico, back to OJ, and OJ deflects it, and it deflects wide for a corner off Will Hughes. And now Millwall all of a sudden taking the fight back to Palace. It's a topsy-turvy cup tie, this. 2-2 at Wickham. Ross Stewart has equalised 6 minutes from half-time in League One. So Wickham and Sunderland deadlocked at 2-2. In the FA Cup, Burnley are winning. Middlesbrough winning at half-time. Blackpool are winning. And in our live match, Millwall are winning by a goal to 0. And it's going to be Scott Malone to take the corner from the left-hand side. Coming up to the 27th minute mark of this third-round cup tie here at Coldblow Lane. Here comes Malone, into the penalty area he goes, and there was 2 or 3 Millwall players who could have got a decent head on that. And now the shot comes in, and it's straight down Butman's throat. It was Ojo with the shot. Left-footed, but tell you what, Millwall, from every time they attack Millwall, they look an absolute threat. It's been an impressive performance from Millwall so far. Tremendous cup tie verbed here. Don't forget, if you are listening to the stream, please keep your comments clean and please keep them family friendly. We are a family show, and keep it relevant to the game keep it relevant to the FA Cup subject, whether it's this game or any of the other ties you may be watching and listening to this one. We are going to you around the world on all TCM platforms, on TCM, JB Sports, JNat Football, Storm FM, TCM2, and on Twitch. Good afternoon to you all, wherever you are in the world. Free kick surely to Palace. Right down the near side. Elise was taken out there by Malone. It was a late challenge by Scott Malone. Ball played in by Ward. The ball had gone a couple of seconds before Malone came charging in there like a rhinoceros. What a riveting cup tie this is turning out to be. Ward and Malone having a set 2 with the referee. I think 1 or 2 of the Palace players want Scott Malone booked. Anthony Taylor quite reluctant to get his yellow or red cards out at this present moment. Millwall leading by a goal to 0. Afobe on 17 minutes with the goal. After a mistake by Jack Butler when he should have really, the ball was played back to him. He took several touches too many, and the goalkeeper now, I don't know Mateta is trying to say that George Long is wasting time. I think that's a bit early to start saying he's time wasted, if I'm being perfectly frank with you, because we've only played about 29 minutes. If it was 89 minutes, I could understand Mateta's argument, but there's still a long, long way to go in this tie yet. And for Mateta to be saying he's time wasted, I think that's a bit strong, really. And I don't think Long had the ball for no more than about 7 or 8 seconds anyway. So I don't know what Mateta had cause to complain about there. Gallagher knocks the ball over the top, looking towards Elise, but back comes Jake Cooper. So far, that Millwall back 3 has worked the oracle. They've kept Palace to a minimum, even though there's been some terrific long-range shooting from Jeffrey Schlupp, which has tested George Long in the goals. They haven't really worked at close range. Here's Joe Ward with the cross, and the goalkeeper is fuming because Alex Pearce took it out of his hands. The ball was played into the 6-yard box, and really, George Long had that all day long. And for whatever reason, Alex Pearce, the captain, decided really to take the law into his own hands. I think the goalkeeper would have had that easily. And Joe Shabble did really well to get the goal kick for Millwall anyway. But we've had half an hour. It hasn't been dull. Let's put it that way. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0, and it's been a fiery South London derby, hasn't it? On third round cup day. Later tonight on all TCM platforms, join Russ Vernon, who's at Stamford Bridge presenting this game, and of course we'll be commentating on Chesterfield's big attempt to try and cause one of the biggest FA Cup upheavals of all time, maybe against Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea. You'll see if Chesterfield can pull off the unlikely at 5:30 for you. Tomorrow, we've got the FA Cup fourth round draw for you. And then from the City Ground, Nottingham, alternate commentary with myself and Paul James, with Trevor presenting for you. Trevor Sports Fame will be hosting that one for us. Certainly under the guise as Trevor Lydon. So he'll be hosting that, and then Trevor himself will be in the com box at Old Trafford alongside, we hope, Chris Whiteman, but definitely Russ Vernon, who's now hosting rather than me, as I've got personal stuff to sort out, so I will not be part of that. And in fact, these two broadcasts will be the last for me for about a week or so, as I just take a little break or so just to catch up with stuff, because I have been working non-stop for the TCM since joining in early June. So I'm going to have a little week or so winter break before returning to commentary in about a couple of weeks' time. But I'm here today and I'm here tomorrow for the Nottingham Forest game, and you'll be able to hear those both on TCM platforms. Don't forget, we've got Women's European Championships, and of course later this year, at the back end of the year, we've got the 2022 World Cup from Qatar. Most games will be coming for you live on the TCM, and I'll be a big part of the commentary team out there for that one. Plenty of good stuff coming up. In the FA Cup, with all Midlands clash, Dominic Hiram has just scored. The Coventry City are going really well at the moment this season under Mark Robbins. They lead Wayne Rooney's Derby County by a goal to nil in that one. So Coventry 1, Derby 0 in the FA Cup. Blackpool are winning in the FA Cup. Burnley are winning in the FA Cup. So too are Millwall, and so too are Middlesbrough. As George Long has the possession now for Millwall as we hit the 33rd minute of the game. Remember, this is going to be played to a finish this afternoon, either through 90 minutes extra time or possibly penalties. But at the moment, a real FA Cup shock is definitely on, because Crystal Palace, as things stand, and I know there's a long way to go, we've only played 33 minutes, I get that. And Palace fans won't forgive me for that, but I've got to say, if it stays the same, or Millwall extend the lead and Palace can't come back, then we could see a shock here in the third round of the FA Cup. Half-time in the FA Cup between Bristol City and Fulham. That's an all championship affairs. Patrick Vieira's having a word or two with Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor's come across to speak to him. It's Bristol City 0, Fulham 0. So at Ashton Gate. Don't forget, keep your comment. If you are commenting or you're joining us this afternoon on all TCM platforms, don't forget to comment, but please keep your comments clean, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Malone now with the throw in for Millwall as we hit the 33rd minute mark. Patrick Vieira saying one or two things out of order. That's why Anthony Taylor just had to go and warn him a bit, because in this day and age now, even managers can be booked speaking out of turn to fourth officials and the like. Here's McNamara, who's certainly in the frame at this early stage for the Player of the Match award. He's really done exceptionally well down that right-hand side. Boundless running, boundless energy. He's looked absolute part, Danny McNamara. Certainly looked the part anyway. Here's Elise now, bursting in from the right-hand side. He's got two to his right. And here's Matata, but he can't get it out of his feet. And Millwall come away with the ball. Here's Saville. Saville now has to go back to Cooper, who gets it forward, but it's well intercepted by Ward, just shy of halfway in the Millwall half. Still 1-0 to Millwall. A goal in 17 minutes after a mistake by Jack Butler, and Medicafome pounced on his mistake to score as he was attempting the goalkeeper to clear a ball away. He took too many touches, lost possession. Afome took it round him, found the left-hand corner, and that's how we are here at the Den. 1-0 to Millwall. FA Cup third round. The winners are placed in the hat for tomorrow's FA Cup fourth round draw, which will bring you live all across all TCM platforms before the live match at the City Ground tomorrow afternoon with me and Paul James. I'm looking forward to working with Paul for the very first time. two men, Beatty Burnley, will be making up the TCM commentary team. Here's a chance now for Eze. Then there's a shot coming in, and it's wide from Conor Gallagher with the right foot just beyond the left-hand post. And that was very close for Palace. It was almost too close for comfort for Millwall, that's for sure. One possession here. Shot comes in. He's a terrific player, Conor Gallagher. It's been a terrific signing for Palace. He impressed when on loan at West Bromwich Albion last season. And he's certainly got the skills, Conor Gallagher. He's certainly worth 25 million of anybody's money, that lad, I'll tell you. We're inside the last 10 minutes here at the Den. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0 in the FA Cup, sponsored, of course, by Emirates. And another throw. It is just time to Millwall halfway. The 2004 winners lead the 1990. 2004 runners-up lead the 1990 and 2016 winners-up by a goal to nil. Both teams never won the FA Cup, of course. As I said, the three finals between them. Palace have got to two of them, 1992 and 2016. Millwall 2004 beaten on each occasion, both these teams in the final by Manchester United. What a stat that is. Here's Gallagher getting it forward down the left-hand side. He'll pick out Alex Pearce and now Cooper. Here's Billy Mitchell. Oh, he slipped there. And now this could put Palace in again now. Here's Elise, and the throw has been given to Crystal Palace. I think we'll need a right old break at half time. I might need a couple of chocolate hobnobs at half time just to calm down from this exciting first 37 minutes that we've been playing. That's easy for sure. Other biscuits are available. Half time in League One. Wickham 2, Sunderland 2. Still playing in the first half at Burnley, who lead 1-0. Blackpool are winning as well. And just to remind you that also Coventry are leading as well. We haven't had that confirmed as half time yet, but we'll get confirmation from Russ. That is for sure. Here's Elise shipping it in, looking for Eze on the far side of the penalty area, on the left-hand side of the penalty area. Elise really with a diabolically poor and feeble cross behind for a Millwall goal kick. And here's some half-times for you. So these are half-times at the moment. 3 half-times have just flashed in. Coventry 1, Derby County 0, Hartlepool 0, Blackpool 1, and Burnley 1, Huddersfield 0. They're all half-times around at the Coventry City Stadium. I forget where Hartlepool play their games these days. Victoria Park. Victoria Park is the venue, and of course at the Cathedral Football, of course, Turf Moor. And we're at another Cathedral Football, the brilliant Den, where the atmosphere is unrelenting here, especially when Millwall are on top and in the lead, especially in cup ties. They've been really good knockout specialists. Not many Premier League visitors have come away with anything. Only Brighton, really, the last few years have really come away from the Den unscathed. And of course, Everton were famously beaten 3-2. Of course, Leicester City were famously beaten when they were Premier League holders in the 5th round in 2017. 1-0. So, if you're a Premier League club, go down to the new Den at your peril. Free kick to Millwall. Mitchell, Gaye is the offender that time. Foul there on Ojo. Definitely got none of the ball. It's called the Suit Direct Stadium. Well, I know it as Victoria Park. I'm a traditionalist, Russ. Also, Russ is doubling up as producer. He's down at Stamford Bridge. We'll be glashing over to him as soon as we hear the final whistle here at the new Den. I don't like sponsors when they sponsor stadiums. It takes away the tradition of the football. It takes away the tradition of the ground. I don't know why they have to go down the sponsorship and copper room. Anyway, chance inside the area for Millwall, and the shot for Bradshaw was blocked there at the very last second. I think the flag was up anyway, as Adam Nunn quite clearly demonstrates on the far side. Although I must say, I think he looked level to me. I think that's a very harsh decision. I don't think Adam Nunn was in line with that. I think Millwall have been a bit hard done by, even though the chance was missed. I think he was onside there, Bradshaw. Millwall will feel a little bit hard done by there. Still they lead by a goal to nil, though, the Lions, and they've been good value for it. Palace have fought back, but really haven't tested Georgie Logging the goals enough, and that really has been the difference. But Millwall have capitalised. They've been very well organised. You'll get that from a Gary Rowett side. And at the moment, his Millwall Lions are really holding him. 11th in the Championship, beating 11th in the Premier League by a goal to nil. Here is Billy Mitchell. Barnes has beaten him. Schwab picks it up. Finds Eze now. Mitchell now. Gallagher turns. Well, it's a harsh decision, but it's a free kick against McNamara. As we go into the last 4 minutes of the first half here, 1-0 to Millwall. Did he take any of the man? Well, I think Gallagher looks through it a bit, but there is contact. Free kick, though, to Palace. We do have a shock on here in this FA Cup. That's why the television cameras from ITV are here. That's why Clive Tilsley's a few yards rolls up in the commentary box, not far from me. Good old Clive on commentary duty for the TV boys today. Anyway, Gallagher with a free kick then for Palace as they float it in. It's too high, it's too flighted, and it's too floated, and it's straight into the Millwall fans behind Georgie Long's goal. And a goal kick to Millwall as we now head towards the last 3 minutes of normal time at the end of the first half. Patrick Vieira has got a big half-time tea talk ahead of him now if it stays this way. George Long has performed when he's had to perform, when he's had to do stuff, he's done it well. And Millwall still leading as the rain still tipples down here at the new down. I remember it really when Millwall took on Brighton in the quarterfinals 3 years ago. And here comes Long again, takes it just inside his penalty area. And no complaining that time from Mateta. I wonder if he's going to make a gesture to his wrist again. Well, kicks out of his box, hands just on the edge of the box. He was just inside the box as he struck the goal kick. Samuel knocks the ball forward, looking towards Bradshaw. And the ball out of play on the left-hand side for a Millwall throw. Here's Malone to take it. Can Millwall get an insurance policy of a second before half-time? It'd be a good time for them to score now if they could try and get themselves back in now. At least they're having to do a bit of defending at right back there, sort of taking an auxiliary right back role, and then ball back by Hutchinson, who's had a terrific first half alongside Alex Pearce and Jake Cooper at the heart of that Millwall defence. Three-man defence, central defensive trio at the back for Millwall, and it's paid dividends so far for Gary Rowett's team. They're very experimental side. Gary Rowett, who's done a terrific job of very little resources, looks a really good manager in the making here. Should be a Premier League manager in a couple of years' time if he gets his act together, Gary Rowett. Could have got Birmingham up a couple of years ago if he hadn't been so harsh with Sackman and Birmingham owners at the time. Big mistake that, because I think he would have took Birmingham into the Premier League. I don't think there's any doubt about that. The way his teams were performing, to be 7th in the Championship, then sacked. Didn't go down very well with me at all. When managers are sacked for no reason at all, it hurts it hurts the manager's pride, who has been sacked. He was dealt a harsh blow, and of course, it was his boy club he got sacked from as well, Birmingham. So it was basically hard for him to take at the time. But I think he's rebuilt his reputation. He's certainly rebuilt it very well here at the Den. On very little resources, of course. When you're a team like Millwall, who aren't perceived to be a massive club in that league, you do everything you can to try and cut your cloth accordingly and buy cleverly as well. And they do just that here and out at the Den. And they've got themselves a goal kick now with Cooper. We're into the last 20 seconds of the normal time here in the first half. Someone there a bit hard there on Anderson. Was waved away there. But for commitment and endeavour, you've got to give the honours to Millwall, really. They've really got their hands dirty when they needed to, the Millwall guys. They really have. We're into 300 minutes at the end of the first half. More for Conor Gallagher's eye injury more than anything else. Throw to Millwall. as Pearce hit that forward. So 300 minutes at the end of what's been a high-octane first half here at the Den. 12:45 kickoff on a Saturday afternoon. Don't forget, we've got Chelsea-Chesterfield coming up at 5:30 at Stamford Bridge. Russ is standing by down there across the Thames to bring you the half-time sequence. Then we'll be back well in time for the second half here at the Den between Millwall and Palace. And then we're at Nottingham Forest tomorrow for alternate commentary of that game. Me and Paul James in the com box alongside Trevor, who will be hosting in Trevor in Southend, up to Old Trafford for his first ever live commentary as he describes for you Manchester United against Aston Villa in the third round. 8 o'clock kickoff across all TCM platforms. Not anymore Twitter or Periscope, just to remind you. Play one of the 3 minutes. Eze down for Palace. Far side has the cutting field. Back to the centre circle. And here's Joe Ward. Left to right hand side. Into Conor Gallagher. Now to Elise. Elise now. Hugging that touchline. Elise taking on his man. Looking for options. Finds one in Schrupp. Schrupp dummies it. Might fall from Campbell. For Mitchell. Shot comes in. And Eze wants a penalty. I think, is it? Well, what's he giving here? George Saville went in there. Palace won a penalty. It's a corner. No VAR, just to remind you here. So if you're wondering where VAR is, we're at a championship venue. I'd like to see a... Well, let's have a look. Did Saville get any of the more here? Did Palace have a case? Not... Well, he may have got a slight touch there, Saville. Vieira, though, disagrees. I have to say Saville just got the benefit. But it was close. I will go as far as to say it was a 50-50 shout. Referee said corner. That's what it is. And there was a player gone down in there as the corner was taken by Eze. But get the referee. Oh, there was a clear push there by Anderson. Why did he have to do that? He's asking for trouble there, Anderson. I understand his frustration. I understand Palace's frustration that they failed. They should have had a penalty. But there's no need for Anderson to push over Malone like that. Really isn't any need. Even though Hutchinson could have been done there for pulling Anderson's shirt. This is the foul. There's nothing. He just barges Malone there. And I'm amazed that the referee hasn't dipped into his pocket. Quite frankly. If you don't get the decision, just take it with good grace and get on with the game. There's still time left in it. We haven't even got to half time yet. 1-0. It's still anyone's game. 1-0 to Millwall. It's anyone's for the taking. We've played the 3 minutes. The referee balls for half time. But what a terrifically well committed cup tie it has been. And Millwall getting a standing ovation from 3 sides of the Den here today. Benica Fome cashing in on some bad play really from Jack Butler when trying to hit a ball away with his foot. Took 3 touches too many. Should have just put his foot through it from a pass back. He lost control. And Afobe took it round him, found the bottom left-hand corner. And at the moment, dare I say it, Russ, the shock is on. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0. Let's go back to Russ Vernon at Stamford Bridge.
Thank you very much, JB. Very good afternoon to you all. Here's all getting set, ready for the later kick-off that we've got for you. Chelsea against Chesterfield. It's coming up at 5:30. Well, here and now is Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0, as the teams have just gone off for the second half. We're going off for half time. Let's take a quick look at the other scores then for you that's happening right now. In League One, second half just got underway between Wycombe Wanderers and Sunderland. The score is 2-2. That is a good score for Rotherham United, who currently sit top of League One on 50 points. Are still on top on goal difference from Sunderland. We're level on points with the Millers now. Rotherham will have a game in hand, having had today's game called off. Sunderland are second level on points with the Millers. Wycombe are in third, both going fairly well in League One. Some action later in League Two, which I'll go through some of the scores to tell you about later on. Same for the National League as well. National League North and South. FA Cup is where we're at today. It's 63 minutes gone, it's Mansfield 0, Middlesbrough 2, the latest score. Second half has just started at Bristol City against Fulham. It's still 0-0 there, 48 minutes gone. 49 minutes gone at Coventry against Derby. It's 1-0 to the Sky Blues. Burnley against Huddersfield is still half time. Second half about to get underway there, from what I am told, and it's half time. In the second half has just kicked off between Hartlepool and Blackpool. Later in the FA Cup, we've got Chelsea against Chesterfield. I'll keep it across. Birmingham against Plymouth. Hull versus Everton. Swansea against Southampton, and Yeovil against Bournemouth will be off air as soon as the Yeovil Bournemouth full-time score is in. So if that goes to extra time, I'll just keep you across what's happening with that one, with regular comments on that one. But our featured game is Chelsea against Chesterfield. Can the National League side, who are sitting top of the National League, go to the European champions and produce a shock? We've got a shock here so far. Rotherham United, who I follow closely for my personal life and personal work, they travel to the capital to take on QPR. So they're also down in the capital today. Elsewhere, some of the ties sees normally Kidderminster take on Reading and normally Bournemouth take on AFC Wimbledon, hoping to cause shocks in those two matches. Also, Paul Vale caused a shock and knock out Brentford in the FA Cup. Again, Cambridge caused a shock and knock out Newcastle in the FA Cup later this evening. Barrow will look to cause a shock as they try and knock out Championship Barnsley this afternoon. There's Old Lancashire affair later as Wigan Athletic take on Blackburn Rovers. In that game at the DW Stadium, so we're going to go in top of league at the top of their channel, near top of their league, should I say. Second half is just going to Turf Moor, incidentally, bearing the lead by a goal against Huddersfield. Hartlepool have equalised against Blackpool, and it's Ferguson with the goal on 48 minutes. David Ferguson has made it Hartlepool United 1, Blackpool 1, and the manager for Hartlepool is a brother of a friend of mine, Graham Lee, who was at Middlesbrough in the under-23s before getting the senior job at Hartlepool United, and since he's took over at Hartlepool have done fairly well in recent weeks, and it looks like they're doing fairly well here again so far. Our featured game is Millwall against Crystal Palace. We'll be taking a quick break, but please do join us again in round about 5 or so minutes as we've just gone through some of the action there. Just before I do leave you, there's a game happening in the Premier League Under-18s division today, featuring Leeds United, and it's, let's just say, what a game we've had. It's Leeds United to the lead on 6 minutes away, Sunderland. Sunderland equalised on 16 minutes. Sunderland then went back behind. Leeds stole the lead again. Thomas with his second on 26 minutes. Goalkeeper Christie was sent off, so Granger, the sub-goalkeeper, came on. He conceded 2 penalties in first half stoppage time, and that was 3-2 Sunderland. Sunderland then made it 4-2 on 58 minutes. Leeds pulled one back, and that was through Jones. Garner got an hat-trick in the first half. Buchan then pulled one back for Leeds to make it 4-3. Garner then grabbed his 4th on 62 minutes. Rigg then scored on 65 minutes to make it 6-3. Leeds then put a goal back through Andrew Uche on 66 minutes before Thomas grabbed his hat-trick on 76 minutes, and on 82 minutes Sunderland have scored again. It's currently Sunderland 7, Leeds United 5 in the under-18s. Waters on 82 minutes with the goal there. Plenty of action to tell you about. Hi to the JO group who's tuning over on YouTube. Hopefully you're okay. You're listening to coverage of Millwall against Crystal Palace, just going through some other scores as things as is half time there at this moment in time. There has been a goal in the FA Cup, and Middlesbrough, who were leading 2-0, is now game on there. It's now Mansfield 1, Middlesbrough 2. Oliver Hawkins on 67 minutes with the goal there. We'll just take a quick couple of minute break, but when we return, we'll be handing back to JB for the second half as Millwall take on Crystal Palace. It's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 0 at half time. We're back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the commentary hub, the home of alternative commentary. This is the FA Cup third round. You're listening to the FA Cup on the Commentary Hub. Welcome back to the Commentary Hub's coverage here of the FA Cup clash between Millwall and Crystal Palace. The teams are just waiting to come back out. It's wait for the teams to come back out. But what I can tell you, I just want to say a big congratulations to referee Rebecca Welch, who becomes the first women referee or female referee to take charge of a men's FA Cup third round tie. Rebecca Welch is going to be taking charge of Birmingham against Plymouth at 5:30, and to see how she does, and if you want to see how she does in the matches in the game later on, tune into Match of the Day on or the equivalent FA Cup highlights programme to find out how she does in that game. But from everyone at the Commentary Hub, JB Sports, JDAF Football, Storm FM, and also JB Sports, we just want to wish her all the very, very best for that coverage for a match where she takes charge later on this evening. And I'm sure JB will echo those sentiments which I've just mentioned when he's back on mic. We can see the Crystal Palace players back in the tunnel. Patrick Vieira there as well. Some Crystal Palace players back out on the field now. Some of the latest scores, just to run you through. A result from last night: Swindon Town 1, Man City 4. Latest scores: Mansfield 1, Middlesbrough 2, Bristol City 0, Fulham 0, Burnley 1, Huddersfield 0, Coventry 1, Derby 0, and Hartlepool 1, Blackpool 1. All latest scores. With the players back out for the second half then, let's hand back over to your match commentator for the second half. He's primed and ready to go. He's over to you, JB.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Russ, from Stamford Bridge, and welcome from there to here at the Den, where we've been digesting what's been a terrific first half of typical FA Cup football, hasn't it? Goal from Afobe after 17 minutes after a mistake, really, by Jack Butland, the Palace goalkeeper. I just want to echo what Russ said at half-time. Rebecca Welsh, who's going to be the first, as Russ says, is going to be the first female referee to take charge of a third-round FA Cup game in the men's competition. She's at Birmingham today, so we wish Rebecca all the very best. As Palace are actually in the tunnel as I talk to you right now. Patrick Vieira prowling around, but in fact, both teams are now back out on the field. Just to remind you, Swindon 1, Man City 4 for last night, Mansfield 1, Middlesbrough 2, Bristol 0, Fulham 0, Burnley 1, Huddersfield 0, Coventry 1, Derby 0, and Hartlepool 1, Blackpool 1. It is. I know Russ just told you the scores, but I just want to remind you if you've just joined us. And I'm just looking down below here from the top of the Barry Kitchener stand to see if there's any changes in personnel for the start of the second half. I've got a slight feeling it's going to be the same 22 players that started the game. The noise here is absolutely deafening here at the new Den. That man's just seen there Jack Butland's mistake. Conor Gallagher's come close a couple of occasions. But at Millwall, been decent value for their 1-0 lead at half-time. Let's see what happens in this second 45 minutes. Can Millwall win it after the 90 or Palace come back and win it after the 90? We'll soon find out. All the same. It's still the same team. I haven't even given you substitutes yet. It's been such a terrific watch. Let me give you the substitutes in a second when the ball first goes out of play, and then we could give it to you. Well, I'll just remind you of the teams in a second or two, because we've got Palace on the attack here, with Mitchell getting that ball down towards Eze on that far side, and Eze will get there first, Mateta will get there first, but he's lost it there to McNamara. McNamara now down the line. McNamara goes down. Referee says no. Got the ball. Pointed to the ball. Referee knew what he was saying. Knew what he was doing. Here's the ball played out from Gallagher. This is number 7 now. Elise shoots it in off the post and it's got in. Palace are level, and what a terrific start to the second half for Crystal Palace. Michael Elise with the shot from the right-hand side of the penalty area. It's curled away from George Long, hit the inside of the left-hand post and into the net it went. Millwall have been fed back and Palace have made the best possible start of the second half. It's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 1, and we got a second half with a vengeance here. Beautiful goal from Elise, who's capable of that. It's a goal that somebody like a certain Will Sahar would have been proud of himself. A terrific effort. And Palace, who are frustrated to really very much in this first half. I don't know what Vieira's put in the halftime cup of tea, probably a bit of testosterone, because they weren't up for it first half. Well, in the first couple of minutes of the second, they've certainly done that now. It's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 1. A minute into the second half when Elise got the equaliser. And here's McNamara now for Millwall. Ojo goes down the right-hand side. Ojo with the cross. That should be Butland's, and he takes that comfortably at the right-hand near post. So it's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 1. Just remind you, the Millwall substitutes. Barakowski, the goalkeeper. Kifton Belt, the former Birmingham player. Matt Smith specialises in cup shots. He's got a few crucial goals for Oldham once upon a time. Bennett, Evans, Burley, Boateng, Topolog, and Lovelace. What a name that is. Milivojevic, Klein, Matthews, Benteke, Edouard, Kelly, Riedewald, Raksaki, and Wells Morrison are the Crystal Palace subs. Let's remind you of the 11s as well. Long ago for Millwall, Hutchinson, Pearce, Cooper at the back. Three-man defence as George Saville receives a bit of treatment. So let me run through the 11s again just to remind you. I've told you the subs. Let's recap the... may have been an offside there potentially against Mateta. If it had gone to VAR, that Palace goal, I tell you now, would have been wiped out. So Palace can thank their fortunate... are very fortunate, and Adam Nunn, who's not really done, he's caused a lot of good, really. Didn't spot that, and that's how it is. Hartlepool have scored against Blackpool. Joey Gray after 61 minutes, 2-1 at Victoria Park. Just to remind you, the 2-11s again, same from the first half. Long in goal for Millwall. Hutchinson, Pearce, the captain, and Cooper, the free man at the back. Saville is just going off at the moment. I wonder if that's a substitution there. George Saville, who's a very committed player. At the moment, it's Danny McNamara, Billy Mitchell, George Saville at the moment. Whether he'll be substituted or not, I'm not quite sure. Scott Malone in midfield, and then three up front. Ojo, Afobe, the goal scorer for them, and Bradshaw. Palace with Butland in goal, Ward, Anderson, Gay, and Mitchell at the back. So we're back four. Gallagher, Hughes, Schrupp in the midfield. Elise, Mateta, and Eze up front. And in fact, it is a substitution. George Saville is not going to continue, but he's done well for the 49 minutes he's been out there. And Mikael Keftenbelt, the former Birmingham player, is now on in his place. So Keftenbelt now on in his place now, and that's a huge blow, really. No Jad Wallace, now no George Saville for Millwall. That's a real blow for them. Let's hope the injury is not too serious, and we hope George Saville will be okay for future battles. We hope George Saville is okay and he isn't too seriously injured. Here's Mitchell now for Palace, who are right back in this game. Started really well in this second half. Millwall certainly dominated the first half, deserved their lead, but Palace have hit back just at the right time at the start of the second half. And here's Jeffrey Schrupp, who came close himself in that first half, and now the ball knocked away there by Sean Hutchinson. Now Hughes has it. Palace now starting to have a bit more of a threat and a bit more savviness about them here. It's the ball is on the edge of the penalty area. Here's Elise, who got the equaliser. Terrific equalising goal, which brings the scores level at 1-1. Remember, if it's level after 90, we will have extra time. Level after that, penalties. So we could be here till about 3:30 this afternoon. So don't put your hats away too long. And of course, if you are coming over from Trevor Sports, please join us here on the TC Hub. And of course, we're all across these YouTube channels, TC Hub itself, JB Sports, JDAT Football, Storm FM, and Twitch. No Periscope or Twitter for us now for live streaming. Here's Olise now far side. Can he repeat the trick? Olise's going to try and repeat the trick, and he's hit the same post, but this time it didn't go in. He almost repeated the trick. The only difference was he hit the left-hand post, and it didn't, for whatever reason, go in the net. Well, his luck was in about 5 minutes ago. His luck was out then. But it's still Palace on the attack. Ball played in there towards the penalty area. Hughes might have a blast. He does have a blast, and he blasts it over the top for a goal kick to Millwall. But it's all of a sudden the momentum of the game has swung there. We were all saying that Palace have got a job on in the second half. And they come out fighting. And Olise could have had two similar goals there in the space of 6 second half minutes. Cuts inside, hits it left foot, again with the side of the foot. It's curling, and just doesn't curl enough. Hits the left-hand far post, and then bounces away. But he'll be happy with the way his team are starting in the second half. And at the moment, as things stand, I can actually see Palace winning this now. I didn't see them in the first half, but maybe they just underestimated Millwall a bit. They're not underestimating them now. Free kick to Palace on the far side, and a little bit of pushing and shoving going on there between Hughes and I think it might have been Jake Cooper. So we played 7 minutes of the second half. Millwall led for a Phobe after 17 minutes after a mistake from Butland. But Olise, a minute into the second half, has leveled the count as Millwall now go charging forward. And they win a free kick this time. Foul by Hughes. And who is it? I wonder if it's Cooper that's gone down. I think it might be. No, it's not. It's Scott Malone, in fact. Well, body blow there for Gary Rowett's team. And he wanted to keep things tight for the first 10 minutes of the second half, no doubt about that. Well, Michael Olise showed a real threat against Burnley when I last covered Palace as a commentator a month or two back. But if I can offer some solace to Millwall fans, Palace are still not the most watertight. Malone complaining that the wall is at 10 yards back, and I've got to agree with him on that. But he's got the ball over the wall all right into the penalty area, floated in, then the shot back from about 25 yards away. Keftenbeld, I think, had the shot, the substitute, and he hit it way to the stand for a goal kick for Crystal Palace. So we played 54 and a quarter minutes. 53, in a quarter minutes of the second half. It's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 1 here in the FA Cup third round. And Palace almost in front a few moments ago. Olise almost repeating the trick like he did in the first half, like he did at the start of the second half. So 1-1 piece it is, and it's OJ getting it forward for Millwall. Now Mitchell a bit up and underish there. Looks more having to look up and down here in the stratosphere above South Bermondsey. Referee plays on, advantage for Crystal Palace. Here is Olise again, finds Eze, and it goes to Gallagher, who looks more of a threat this second half. And Olise will run again and again, and Olise shoots and just wide of that left-hand post again. He looks an absolute threat in his second half. This first 10 minutes, he's had 3 chances. One he took, one he hit the left-hand post, and one he's just knocked over the angle of post and bar. And that could have put Palace in front in this third round tie. Burnley winning 1-0. Hartlepool have turned it around against Blackpool. Middlesbrough 2-1 up in their match at the moment. And there's been another comment, a couple of comments as well. Can we keep the comments to English, please? No, we are an English speaking channel. So please keep your comments clean, and please keep them English and keep them on terms with the FA Cup. Otherwise, we'll have moderators and any other channels cutting them out. So please keep your comments clean, please, and keep them relevant to the game. I must say this about 5 times a commentary these days. 10 minutes gone in the second half of this brilliant FA Cup tie here across all TCL platforms. I hope you're enjoying what we're enjoying here at home. And of course, there you are. You see, that's the problem now. We have more moderators. There's been an equaliser at Mansfield, and it's gone to Reece Holtz. They've got to 85 minutes somehow in that one. It's 2-2, and it looks like we're going to extra time there at Field Mill. So an amazing turnabout there. 85 minutes from the end. Middlesbrough, who look comfortable, now find themselves on the rack up at Field Mill. Meanwhile, Billy Mitchell booked for Millwall. Free kick to Palace inside the Millwall half. Left-hand side as I look from the Barry Kitchener stand at Cold Blow Lane. So Billy Mitchell, as I say, booked. That's been confirmed on our monitors. It was a foul on Eze. Silly challenge, really. And that puts Millwall under a lot of pressure now. Elise to take the free kick. Mark Bright and Steve Parish in the crowd. Well, it isn't Steve Parish, but Mark Bright is certainly there. Crystal Palace legend is his own camera. Ian Wright's here as well, covering the game for television. For commercial television in Great Britain. And there is Steve Parish, just to the bottom left of my screen. Sat below me in a Barry Kitchener stand. And he'll be dead pleased with his side's approach to this second half. They should be really in front in this game, Palace. The way they've started this first 11 minutes of the second half. They're drawing 1-1 with Millwall. Foul there, surely on Gallagher, but no, says the referee. It looked like a sort of a scissors challenge, but referee was quite happy to play on. And here come Millwall now with number 2, McNamara. He goes back now to number 24 there, Billy Mitchell. He's now going to watch his step now from the remaining 33 minutes or so that remains, maybe extra time. But of course, the substitutions to take into account. OJ's got him behind the Palace defence on the right-hand side. It's been a topsy-turvy London Cup derby. There's no doubt about it. It's got to be handled on the day. Here's Mitchell now, trying to get something going. The ball-heeled Millwall fan, dispossessed by Hughes. Now in turns it goes to Elise, who's looked really sharp in his second half. And he'll take on Jake Cooper again on that far side. Elise looks to try and cut inside. That's a good cross header. What a goal! A brilliant goal by Mateta. And Palace in the first 12, 13 minutes of the second half have turned it right around and lead the South London derby at the Den by 2-1. And it was that man again, Michael Elise, who set the ball up. He scored the equaliser. Hughes started here. The ball played on by Mateta, who then completes the move, but it was all down to the work rate on the right-hand side. Took on Cooper, cut back inside, crossed was to perfection. They were ball watching the Millwall defence, and in came Mateta to nod it past Long, who didn't have a prayer, diving away to his right. And Crystal Palace have shown real fight in this second half for 1-0 down to 2-1 up, with an hour almost completed here at the Den. So, a classic cup tie, and it's going Crystal Palace way here. Oh, from the facial expressions of the goal scorer, you wouldn't have known it. Well, the Den was rocking at half-time. Now it's silent. Bar 2,000 Crystal Palace supporters. And Millwall can't believe it. They've had a lot of balls, and now there's a fire on the field, which we could do without. And this is why we've had to have a bit of a stoppage. This is why the referee has to stop this now. Momentarily, we could do without flares on the field. It's a bit stupid, really. This is the goal again. Elise, who's really, within, 14 minutes of the restart, has really put himself into the man of the match reckoning here. Has scored a super header. Was crossed for a super header to be taken here by Mateta. And he was absolutely unmarked and free. And he couldn't, all he had to do was pick his spot, and he couldn't miss, could he? Brilliant header. And we're still waiting for that flare to be cleared. The Palace fans absolutely loving life now. But they've been the better side first quarter hour of the second half. There's no doubt about that. We're still waiting for that flare to be lifted away. The Millwall fans absolutely silenced now in the Barry Kitchener stand. Flare has been dispersed with and put out. And Millwall will restart the game in a few seconds from now. So 2-1 to Palace as we restart the game now with an hour gone in the second half. There will be stoppage time added on for that. Mateta around 58 minutes has put Palace in front. Here's Eze now for Palace. Another goal now will surely settle it. Here's Eze again. Terrific play. Here's Mitchell chipping it forward. Tyrese Mitchell just too close to George Long. But a real triple blow for Millwall at the start of the second half. First to go at the start of the second half, scored by Elise. A terrific effort that carried it off the left hand, far upright, and into the net. Then they lost George Sabo a little later, for injury. And that has been a real turning point for them, for Millwall, that is. And then just a few seconds ago, about 2 minutes ago, John Philip Mateta has scored the second Palace goal from Olise, who's having a second half to remember here. Terrific football by him. He's certainly really wrought himself into the player of the match reckoning here. Michael Olise. A goal and an assist to his name. Millwall about to make another change. Number 20, Bennett, is going to come off. And he's going to replace, let me just check that. Alex Pearce, the captain, is gone. He's been substituted. Mason Bennett comes on in his place. With 61 and 3/4 minutes gone now. Coming up to 62 minutes here at the Den. Millwall 1, Palace 2 in the FA Cup farewell. This is the second of 5 live commentary games, incidentally, on all TCR platforms. Including JB Sports, Storm FM, JDAP Football, and GCM 2. And of course, we're also on the TCM Twitch channel as well. The third one to come is at 5 o'clock between Chelsea and Chesterfield, the 1997 semi-finalists, now a non-league side, looking to get back into the Football League. Can Chesterfield pull off the impossible and beat Thomas Tuchel's men? Well, you'll find out with Russ Burden at 5:30, won't you? Russ is also at Stamford Bridge for us this afternoon, presenting coverage of this game as well. Tomorrow, it's Trevor in the presenter's chair making his debut. Trevor Sports fame. The guys, is Trevor Lining. He'll be making his making his TCM debut for us tomorrow, as he will be in the presenter's chair alongside me and co-commentator Paul James at the City Ground, Nottingham, for alternate live commentary of Nottingham Forest against Arsenal, who'll be wearing an all-white strip rather. As a sort of a awareness against knife crime in London at the moment. Knife crime in London, as you can probably gather if you are from that area. We're here today. Knife crime is very, very rife at the moment. So they're wearing that in protest to that. So there'll be white shirts. And Morris, of course, will be obviously red tomorrow. But be sure to join us at 4:45 tomorrow. Russ will be hosting the 4th round draw. The draw will take place at 10-5. And then it's Trevor, myself, and Paul James at the City Ground. And then Trevor will be commentating at Old Trafford with Russ hosting. And we hope we can persuade Chris Reitman to come on and co-commentate with us as well. That's on Monday. Meanwhile, a double substitution for Crystal Palace. The League 2-1. Eze is coming off. That's the first change for Palace. We'll get confirmation of that. And Olise, who's really got himself into the man of the match reckoning there. Obviously, there's bigger battles to come, of course, in the Premier League. And Vieira's got to save them for them. Of course, we know Wilfred Zaha, it's very, very difficult to try and juggle your team around. Of course, he's built his team there. So Eze and Mateta, has come off. It's Mateta, rather. On comes Christian Benteke, the Belgium, and Edouard, the man they got from Celtic. So Benteke number 20, Edouard number 22. So 20 and 22 on, and Edouard gets his first touch. Ball knocked back and hooked away there by Mark Gueye. Scored a terrific goal against Burnley a month or two back in the Premier League game at Turf Moor, that 3-3 game. Best remembered really for a terrific volley by Maxwell Cornet. Burnley, incidentally, still winning in their game against Huddersfield Town, incidentally. 1-0 as I've got it. I haven't had any word from Russ about any other goals, but we'll try and get some more updates on any of the other games. But I'm certain now that the Middlesbrough game's about to go to extra time. As soon as we get a breaking play, I'll run through and it's been a goal in the game at the Turf. I'm afraid it's not good news, Burnley fans. Josh Komama has scored with a quarter of an hour to play. Burnley 1, Huddersfield 1. But really, when you look at it from a reality point of view, even if Burnley do go out the cup today, it's nothing to be worried about, because the big fish really is to stay in the Premier League. as regards Burnley, from a Burnley fan's point of view. Anyway, here's Conor Gallagher now for Crystal Palace. Ball knocked into the penalty area, and away for a corner there by number 2, Danny McNamara, who's really had a tremendous match so far for Millwall. He's certainly up there for player of the match, and in fact, there's been a late goal. Middlesbrough look like they're going to go through. Elliot Hewitt with an own goal, 5 minutes into stoppage time, so it looks like heartbreak for Mansfield Town, I'm afraid, at Field Mill. But a terrific cup tie down there. Looks like Middlesbrough are going to win it by the goal in 5. And there's been an object thrown, and I'm sorry. Elise has had a bottle. There's a bottle of Coca-Cola being thrown at him. I mean, he just kicks it away, shrugs it off. But the police will no doubt be investigating, and whoever's thrown that, you're a shameful. As Hughes shoots, deflects, Gallagher shoots, and over for a goal kick, ref footed, and over the top for a goal kick. But the man who threw that bottle, that Millwall fan who threw it, you're not a proper football fan. You're just a guy there that's causing a lot of bother for nothing. And I hope the police and the authorities absolutely roll the book in him for that. Of course, he doesn't represent the core group of Millwall fans who 96% of them are very well-behaved individuals. It's just that minority of 4%, really. And it's for every club, not just for Millwall. As that ball's knocked in the air, that should be Butland's, it is. Just as a little bit of a juggling act, but he's okay with that as we go into the 67th minute of this contest. So we're halfway through the second half. So Burnley, Huddersfield look like going to extra time as things stand. Middlesbrough look like winning at Mansfield. Heartbreak for them. Blackpool are losing 2-1 at the moment to Hartlepool. It's all happening in the FA Cup today. And Palace leading 2-1 here at Millwall. But there's been a bottle thrown on Elise, and I think that is disgraceful behaviour from a so-called Millwall supporter. Of course, Millwall have always had that reputation, but they've done a lot to defend Millwall and most of their supporters. They have done quite a lot in the local community to try and shake up this image that they've always had, unfortunately. And sometimes you're never going to get you're always going to get the odd thug, I'm afraid. I mean, you get them everywhere at any football club, whether it's Burnley or Manchester United. You always get the odd thug here, there, and everywhere. There was a few bottles thrown at Rodri the other week in the Manchester City Arsenal game, which was a very unsavoury incident. And but I'm sure that they'll have CCTV here inside the ground, and hopefully they'll get the right culprit and maybe, of course, get him to court, pay a fine, and ban him from football, attending football matches for life, because we could do without all that's going on in it, with everything that's going on with the COVID situation and everything. We could do without hooligans in the game. Or Gina from Millwall tries to knock across in, but it sails over the top and behind for a goal kick with 69 minutes almost gone. It's Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 2. And another bottle, I'm afraid to say, has been thrown. And that's not good. So let me just give you a check now. Mansfield 2, Middlesbrough 3. Bristol City still 0-0 with Fulham. Burnley 1, Huddersfield 1. Coventry 1, Derby County 0. And Hartlepool 2, Blackpool 1. They're all latest scores. I'm sure the Middlesbrough 1, though, has surely now finished. So they're all the latest scores from around the country that kicked off at lunchtime. Of course, we've got a 5:30 kickoff from Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and, of course, Chesterfield. What an afternoon that's going to be for Chesterfield this afternoon, and we wish them all the very best that will be our third of 5 live commentaries bringing you here across all TCL platforms from the FA Cup third round, as our FA Cup coverage gathers more pace. And no foul there. Oh, there is a foul, and it's going to be a free kick. Danny McNamara was caught from behind there. Referee took an age there to blow up for the free kick. It was Jeffrey Shupp who committed the challenge. He just catches the back of his heel there. I think that's a fair decision from Anthony Taylor. And he didn't have to take his time blowing up there, the referee from Greater Manchester. Comes from Wittenshaw, incidentally, which is just on the outskirts of Manchester. So a free kick to Millwall, who trailed 2-1 in this epic third round FA Cup derby, South London derby. It's not just a place in the fourth round up for stake, it's local bragging rights as well. Free kick into the penalty area, headed away by Anderson for Crystal Palace. Then the ball knocked forward by Olise. Still, OJ now coming forward for Millwall. He's got McNamara on the overlap. McNamara's cross. Hughes will get there inside the area and gets it back once again to Mitchell. And then Schrupp gets it forward towards halfway. And at the moment, Millwall now have to throw every boat and ship and all the cautions they can to the wind here at the Den. 2-1, they trail Crystal Palace in this South London FA Cup derby. And it's got to be settled on the day. Millwall 1, Palace 2 is the scoreline. At the moment, it's Burnley 1, Huddersfield 1, and that looks like being extra time at Turf 4. Very disappointing, really, from a Burnley viewpoint, but the FA Cup really isn't the be-all and end-all, really. Huddersfield have been really going well in the Championship so far this season. So it's all about, really, even if the Clarets do go out at the first hurdle this year, it's not the end of the season for them by any means. Because survival is the name of the game. Here's Millwall now, looking to hit back straight away. Shot was blocked. It was a foul-based shot. It was a bit of desperate Crystal Palace defending. And Millwall all of a sudden have woken up from their slumber and have got the ball back here through Billy Mitchell. They might as well have a go in this last 18 minutes or so, plus injury time. They might as well have a go. Here's Mitchell again from Keftenbelt. Back to Mitchell again. Can Millwall find an equaliser? Remember, the more men they throw forward, the more susceptible they would be for the counter-attackers. Benteke goes on the run, but back comes across Sean Hutchinson. Terrific defending by him. And it goes to Billy Mitchell, the Millwall supporter. Grew up watching football in the Barry Kitchener stand. Here goes McNamara. He's had a terrific game in the dark blue of Millwall this afternoon. But it's the blue and white of Palace that are winning this game. And here's Edouard now, the man they got for 15 million quid from Celtic. Only scored about 5 goals, but he's certainly announced himself big time. No foul there on Gallagher. Referee signalling to get up there, waving his arms. Get up, he says, and here goes Ojo. Can he work the oracle here for Millwall? Ball towards the far post, and it's well overhit and out of play for a goal kick to Crystal Palace. With just shy of 17 minutes plus injury time to play here. Millwall 1, Palace 2 in the FA Cup. Sponsored, of course, by Emirates. As things stand, there would not be the requirement for extra time, which means I can actually go down from the Barry Kitchener stand and then sneak on the Burnley game on my way up to the City Ground, which will be based for tomorrow's 4th out of 5 alternate commentary. All out of play, and it will be a throw-in to Millwall. We say just not controlling the ball enough there over on the far side. Won't be squeaky bum time for Russ Vernon tomorrow, as he will be keeping his beady eye across the Thames at the London Stadium as West Ham and Leeds face off at 2 o'clock. That's not one of the games that's going to be covered by the TCM, incidentally. But certainly you fancy West Ham on current form. And the Leeds really got back to winning ways with a very confident victory over Burnley a few days ago. It's finished at Field Mill. It's not to be from Mansfield Town. They gave it a good goal, though. Mansfield 2, Middlesbrough 3. That's a result. So Middlesbrough, the second team through, and they join Manchester City in that 4th round draw, which will take place just before that Nottingham Forest Arsenal game at the City Ground tomorrow afternoon. One of 5 games you can hear across the TCM network as we go around the world to bring you the very best in FA Cup commentary over this weekend. We're into our second of 5 commentaries. This is Mitchell now on the near side from Millwall, right hand side, deep inside Palace territory. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 2. The 2004 runners-up being beaten by twice runners-up. Both teams, when they've ever got to the final, Palace twice, Millwall once, have always come up against Manchester United and have been beaten by Manchester United twice. And all success on all occasions. So there's a little stat they share in common. When they got to a cup final, neither of these two sides, they've always faced Manchester United. And every time Manchester United have always come out on top. Here's Jake Cooper now for Millwall. Has to go back inside. Kefton Milk keeps it alive. They need something now. Millwall now in the remaining quarter of an hour plus injury time. Good dummy there by number 20, Bennett. And there's a foul there. There's a little bit of afters going on there off the ball. Ward's been penalised, but let's see what happened here. Foul by Ward, and then there was a bit of afters then. There might have been I think maybe of a stamp perhaps there by Scott Malone, maybe, but referee sort of nipped it in the bud. I think he gave the first decision rather than the second decision, the Scott Malone one. So Millwall from the left-hand side have a real opportunity here. This is where they've got to make it count. We've got 14 minutes for stoppage time, and we know what Millwall can be in FA Cup games. They are not afraid to strike when the iron's hot. Malone with the free kick from the far side. Plenty of dark blue shirts in there. Header comes in almost came there for number 4, Hutchinson, who got up, tried to get up above everybody else. Palace did well, Statley. Ojo now has it for Palace on the right-hand side. Takes on Will Hughes. Gets the cross into the area. Again, good discipline, Palace defence. Might have been a foul in there. Referee letting it go. Anthony Taylor's had a decent game by his standards. I'm not criticising him too much in the second half, for sure. Not good news, I'm afraid, coming through, JB, for Burnley fans. Looks like Huddersfield have scored again. It might not be the worst news in the world, to be honest with you. It's all about Premier League survival for us. Here's the shot coming in, and it's straight into the arms of Butland from Mason Bennett. Ojo working another good cross in there from the near side. Millwall really giving it a good go in this second half, but Bennett shot straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. So Huddersfield have scored again. Matty Pearson on 87 minutes. So it looks like the Clarets, our beloved Clarets, are going out the cup, and it's not a great surprise when you look at the form of the two sides. Burnley really struggling for form. No Sean Dyche, of course, due to COVID. There was no Pep Guardiola last night due to COVID. And it looks as if Ian Wilder's knocked us out the cup this year. Well, there's always next year, I suppose. It's all about league survival this year. But I don't think Alan Pace, the German, will be too happy that we've gone out to a lower league side. Well, potentially gone out to a lower league side. It's bitterly disappointing. But Millwall and Palace have really played out a thrilling cup derby, which will live long in the memory. And there's still 12 minutes of it to go, so never say never for Millwall. But if Patrick Vieira's sides are anything to go by, they are very professional in how they get the job done. We saw very much against West Ham on New Year's Day that they are a side that does really well in second half of games. But there we go. There's been another goal at Wycombe in League One. Ross Stewart, not Russ Stewart, has scored a late injury time goal there. So it's like Sunderland are going to keep their automatic promotion challenge going at the top of League One. Wycombe beaten, looks like, in Adams Park by 3-2. Hutchinson now for Millwall. Out to the far, McNamara out to the far side. Maloney's there, so too is number 20, Mason Bennett. But Ward is there, and he's pushed by Bennett. Free kick to Palace, right by the far corner quadrant. All happening here. Anthony Taylor's had to referee with eyes on the back of his head. Hostile crowd here at the Den. And it's he's refereeing. I have to say, I've criticised him a lot in the past, but I have to say today he's managed it with absolute great conviction. It's got to be said. So we're coming towards the 80th minute of the game, 30 seconds shy of the 80th minute, and Millwall are going to bring on 2 more substitutes. Meanwhile, substitutions you can actually bring up to 5. So this will bring them up to 5. Number 10, Matt Smith's going to come on. He's scored a few goals in his time, that's for sure. Ojo is one of the players going off as we hit the 80th minute mark here at the Den. So Ojo off. We'll get confirmation of all the subs in a second or two with the captions. Matt Smith is definitely one of the substitutes that's come on. So we'll get a full recap of the subs in a second or two with our television colleagues on ITV. So Tom Bradshaw, Benny Kofobe and Shai Ojo are all off. On comes Matt Smith, Tyler Burley and Nana Boateng. 10, 32 and 38 respectively. Free kick to Palace with almost 9 minutes to go this second half. We've played almost 81 minutes of this thrilling FA Cup South London derby. Will Hughes is now coming off for Crystal Palace in the latest change. Hard to keep up with all these subs. I don't think he's too pleased about being substituted. He's shaking his head. He's lasted a good 80 minutes and he's done really well. And Luka Milivojevic, the club captain for Crystal Palace, now takes his place in that midfield and quick as a flash, takes the captain's armband away from Joe Ward. Right, free kick. After all that little inactivity, he's going to be left now, after all that, to Jack Butland. Oh, dear me. Gary Rowett isn't pleased with all this malarkey. And there's going to be a booking here for a Palace player, is there? Anderson, I think, is going to be booked, presumably for time wasting. Looks like Anderson's been booked. So we'll get that confirmed by our sources. But I'm sure it's Anderson for time wasting there, I'm assuming. Ball not forward again by Malone. The ball not back in there with interest by Gray. Still, we don't know what's happening at Burnley. Burnley look like tumbling out the FA Cup. So too do Blackpool, by the way. 2-1 down to Hartlepool. So 2 Lancashire clubs are heading out the cup already. I will still be a bit annoyed that we've got out the cup. But credit to Huddersfield if they do go through. Well done to them. Doing well in the Championship, 6th in the table. Really good performance from them. I'll have to watch back the game later on tonight just to get a view of that. But Jack Butler's the player incidentally being brandished the yellow card. And in a few 7 or 8 minutes from now, I've got to choose a player of the match in association with Commentary Services. It's a tough old choice, I've got to be honest. But there's a few players in the frame, and one of them who's on the ball now, Elise, certainly in the frame as he knocks the ball forward, looking towards Gallagher. Out quick as a button came George Long out of his goal, and has copped an unfortunate one there from Conor Gallagher, who was steaming in there like an express train. He's going to get a bit of treatment, and I'm afraid to say Burnley are out of the cup, beaten 2-1 by Huddersfield. Bristol City and Fulham have gone to extra time in Ashton Gate, and Coventry have knocked out Derby, and Hartlepool have knocked out Blackpool. So a bit of a shock there. Blackpool and Neil Critchell out the cup, and Burnley out of the cup. That's disappointing, really. But the league is obviously staying in the Premier League with all its riches is still a real concern, really, for Burnley. But I'll look back at the highlights and make my own decision a bit later on, because I can't really comment on Burnley's exit, only to say that the players have let themselves down badly. A morale-boosting win would have been great for the Clarets going forward. But unfortunately, they've let themselves down today at Turf Moor, so you can't. But full credit, well done to Huddersfield Town. Good result for them, and this Burnley fan certainly wishes them well in round number 4. Well done to Huddersfield Town, and well done to Hartlepool too, knocking out Blackpool. Right, just shy of 5 minutes to go. Still 2-1. Millwall free kick. Bamber long, hits it long and forward. Edouard now to win the next ball. Milivojevic now. A bit of more Premier League about them now as Millwall look to try and force extra time. No replays here in the third round. Burnley out of the cup. Blackpool out of the cup. Mansfield have gone as well today. So Burnley the first Premier League casualty of this season's FA Cup. And I'm sad to say that, really, but that's the truth. And it looks like Millwall will be joining Burnley and Blackpool at the moment out of the cup. Early doors. Very disappointing from the Clarets. Really fancied us on it this year, but it's the Premier League now as Burnley goes charging in. Which they're going in very strongly there. As McNamara wins it. He's had a good game as well, and he's in the frame for man of the match. I feel he's played rather well today. Captain Belt keeps it alive. The good thing about, I suppose, if you look at it logically, the good thing about it, I can now be an FA. I can actually be strictly neutral in the FA Cup and can watch it purely and simply as a neutral, which probably is a good thing, and probably from a fixture congestion point of view, It's probably one less worry for Burnley to think about now, concentrate on survival, but it's still a bit disappointing, really, when you think about it, going out the first hurdle. Here's Burnley now with the cross, hits the defender, throwing it is to Millwall, just a couple of yards from the quadrant. They're having a go now towards the end. It's been a tremendous topsy-turvy cup game, a cup derby that has to and froed as we go as we are now going to the last 4 minutes. It's going to be Billy Mitchell to take that throw right on the near side, right in front of the Billy Kitchener stand in front of me here. Mitchell into the penalty area, hoisted in there, high and long, and Gallagher hooks it away, but not very far. It'll come back to Mitchell, plenty of time for a cross. In it goes towards the area. Oh, the all going! It's just gone wide! Boateng came in there, and he was about half an inch away of drawing Millwall level. And that could be a chance gone begging, and maybe Millwall's opportunity maybe to stay in the FA Cup. Lovely cross from Billy Mitchell. It's on a plate. And there may have been a flick in there as well by Cooper. There was. Smith was in there too. And it just needed to be 10.5 instead of 9.5, and that would have been 2-2. Oh, how'd you look, Millwall? Goal kick given. As Elise comes off, and I'm also going to give him the Player of the Match award as well. Michael Elise is our Player of the Match, sponsored by Commentary Services, as he makes way for Nathaniel Klein. Elise is going to be the man of the match. He's an assist and a goal. Could have had another couple himself. He's been a terrific performer for Palace today. Boundless running. He's had a terrific game. Michael Elise is our Player of the Match, sponsored by Commentary Services. Riedewald is also on. Don't know who for. I'll get Russ to comment, help me with that one out. I just want to see who's replaced Riedewald. We know Elise's gone. Just need the second player that's been withdrawn. As we now go towards the end of the game. 2-1 to Palace. And a tremendous performance, really, from the team from Selhurst Park, who were really up against it at half-time when Millwall led at half-time to Benny Kafobe's 17th minute goal. But I'm sure the most relieved man in the round today would be Jack Butland, whose mistake led to Millwall going in front in that cup time. But then back came Elise with the equaliser. Jeffrey Schlupp has been the other man to come on. Thank you very much indeed, Russ. So Jeff Schlupp was the other man who was replaced. And he was pretty good himself today, but Elise, you cannot argue with that Player of the Match award, because he was super. He had a superb second half. He did look very threatening as well in the first half. I ought to remind you. So too did Jeffrey Schlupp. He was very unlucky. Another day he could have got Player of the Match. Riedewald has been fouled. Surely there. No, the referee telling him to get up. And it's going to be a Millwall throw-in on the halfway. McNamara takes it quickly. We're now playing a minute and 10 of normal. We've got a minute and 10 of normal time left to play here at the New Den. Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 2 here at the Den. Burnley are the first high-profile casualty of the FA Cup from the Premier League, knocked out by Huddersfield 2-1. Disappointment for all Clarets fans everywhere, including for which I number myself one. Looks like going to be disappointment for Millwall after a bright first half, which they led by a goal to nil. But this is cup football for you. Palace came back strongly. At least they went, now discipline going to the dogs here for Millwall. That's not going to help. McNamara's had a super game, almost butting his own copybook there. It's going to be a Millwall throw. There has been one or two bits of trouble as well with the crowd. Bottles thrown at Elise and bottles thrown, I think, at Joe Ward as well, which has really soured what's been a terrific cup tie. As Mitchell gets it into the corner there. There was a bit of tugging there as we go into 5 added minutes at the end of what's been a very, very competitive game. Terrific cup verb here down at the Den today in South Bermondsey. A game really that's been full of drama and commitments and endeavour all over the place. It's been terrific. Wigan have scored again. No, it's not going to be a win for Sunderland, is it? Joe Jacobson has scored. Well, Jacobson has scored in the 8th minute of stoppage time there. And it's finished actually at 3-3. That must have been the last kick down at Upper Adams Park. So 3-3, it finished in Buckinghamshire. Sunderland have dropped 2 points in their League Championship in the League One promotion race. Here in the FA Cup, Millwall are still alive. Wins a 5 minutes of added time. This is Mitchell now. Takes on the defender. That comes off Mitchell last. It's going to be a goal kick all day. Millwall fans complain, but the right decision was made by the referee there, or the assistant there, Gary Bezic. Was the right decision. Gary Bezic, right decision. Goal kick to Palace. They won't take too much time. We've had 1 minute of the 5 here. It was been a very competitive London Cup derby, and a joy and a privilege to be here. We'll be at Nottingham tomorrow. That'll be my next commentary game for the TCM. I'll have Paul James. I will be digesting Burnley's defeat in the press box at the City Ground tomorrow. In the press box at the City Ground tomorrow with Trevor. No doubt, giving us a little bit of sympathy. No Trevor as I do. But he'll be making his TCM debut. But we'll see if Forest can overcome Arsenal like they did 4 years ago in the third round, beating them 4-2 that day. And I remember doing the game for JB Sports as well on a bitterly cold night at the City Ground. Free kick to Millwall as we now go into what Alex Ferguson would say squeaky bum time now. It's now or never for the Lions. But the Eagles have come to the Lions' den, look like taking a 4th round spot with it as well. But what a tie it has been. What a game, and what an advert for the FA Cup today at the Den. Shame we've had 1 or 2 so-called supporters ruining it for the rest of us with full bottles being thrown in. It could have struck players on the head. It has really been one of those days where it could have easily been spoiled. Millwall could still snatch a late goal now. Boy in the area. Oh, and he went inside the area to corner the Millwall. But it could have so easily been the equaliser. Matt Smith was right in there, and he just needed a touch inside the area, and he would have been 2-2. Oh my goodness. It got a deflection. And there's that Millwall's chance gone. We've still got 2 of the 5 minutes to play. Malone's going to take the corner from the far side. Millwall still alive in the FA Cup. They just need to take one chance and they're level. Ball in there. Header 1, but it's 20 yards of Butland. And that could be that for Millwall. There's still another couple of minutes to go of the 5. But that's that last chance. Evaded Millwall this time. Ball played in. And it was a header 1 there by Sean Hutchinson. And Gary Rowett knows that the game may be up. But they're still in the mix-up for a championship playoff spot. So the season's far from, even if they go out today, Millwall, the season is far from over. As I said, they're chasing the playoffs and they're not far up that as well. It's very tight at the top of the championship. Here's Conor Gallagher on the far side. 1:20 of the allotted 5 to go. And I should also stress it's a minimum of. Adam Nunn saying, no way, was that a free kick, sir? And he tells Gallagher to get up. And in fact, there's a bit of a facial injury again to Conor Gallagher, who's been in the wars. Let's see what happened here. Was there a failing arm there? Oh, Kefton Belt. Tell you what, if it had gone to VAR, that would have been a bit dodgy for Kefton Belt. With the frustration creeping into the Millwall ranks. Throwing to Palace in line with the 18-yard box of Millwall. Just 45 seconds of the allotted 5 to go. And if Palace just stay professional, playing into the corner for straight Millwall, then they're through. And here's M1. He might finish it for sure. Shot deflects and it's high in the air, but it's forward nicely for Long, who can't afford to waste it now. 30 seconds of stoppage time to go. Is there one last chance for Millwall? Is there one last hurrah? Billy Mitchell has it on the far side, on the near side. Gets it there. Crossing from Bennett. And it goes. Header 1 straight to the goalkeeper from Matt Smith. And Millwall got their chance and couldn't take it. And Jack Butland, who was a villain at a piece for Palace, has turned out to be a hero now. His mistake has been long forgotten about from Palace's point of view. And that has won Palace the match. Either side of Butland, that was extra time. As the 5 minutes have gone by, we're now playing time added on. At the end of the time added on, Butland will kick clear off the deck. We're still playing here. We're playing 15 seconds over the 5. Free kick to Millwall. The whistle hasn't gone yet. And now Anthony Taylor, it's at his discretion. We've played a minimum of. I should stress it was a minimum of. Will we see another chance from Millwall? Georgie Long with the kick. We've played 30 seconds on with a 5. All eyes on Anthony Taylor, the referee from Wittenshaw. Palace need to just stay stout defensively. They don't need to stay stout defensively because that's it. The referee has bolted for full time. The two managers shake hands. And Crystal Palace have come to the Lions' Den and have survived. They have beaten a plucky Millwall by 2-1. They were a goal down at half time. It was a goal scored by Benny Kafobe after a mistake by Jack Butland. He slipped as he was trying to clear away from a back pass. Millwall led at the break, could have led by more than the one they had at that point. But then back in the second half, I don't know what Vieira put in the half-time cuppa, really testosterone possibly, but even so, what a comeback it was. Elise with a super equaliser, darted in from the right-hand side, shot from the edge of the right-hand side in the area, hit the left-hand post and flew straight in the back of the net to make it 1-1. And then Elise setting up the winning goal from Mateta on 58 minutes. So Palace survive. They go through to the next round of the FA Cup. Next you'll hear from me will be in just over 24 hours from now, 25 hours from now, at around about 5:05, as me and Paul James, who'll be no doubt as disappointed as I am that Burnley have stumbled out the cup today, we'll be bringing you live commentary of another potential Bernardo skin, this time for Arsenal, as they go to Nottingham Forest. That's at 5. That will be live with Russ Vernon, who will be commentating on the draw, and Trevor presenting not just the draw, but also the match itself. Me, Trevor, and Paul will be with you tomorrow afternoon. Russ will be with you at 5:30 as well for that Chelsea-Chesterfield Cup tie as well. And then on Monday, Trevor will be in the commentary box with Russ and hopefully Chris Whiteman as they bring you that tie of the round between Manchester United and Aston Villa. And that could be a very difficult one for Ralph Rangnick as Manchester United manager, with Steven Gerrard going to Old Trafford with his Villa troops. But we've seen a really good cup tie, a terrific occasion for the FA Cup. Shame really one or two so-called Millwall supporters almost spoilt it with the rest of us by pouring goals and cans. That's just left a little sour taste in their mouth. But really, all in all, it's been a terrific watch, a terrific cup tie. And it's Palace who take the spoils and a place in the fourth round by 2-1. And to wrap up the programme, here's Russ Vernon.
Thank you very much, JB. Let's just run through some of the other results in the Emirates FA Cup. Third round action then for you. Mansfield 2, Middlesbrough 3. I will remind you of these later on the evening programme. Bristol City versus Fulham, extra time being played. Still goalless. Burnley 1, Huddersfield Town 2. Coventry City 1, Derby County 0. Hartlepool United 2, Blackpool 1, and our featured game, Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 2. Our second choice of feature matches is at 5:30, Chelsea versus Chesterfield. In League 1, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Sunderland 3. 98th minute equaliser for Sunderland through Joe Jacobson. In the Premier League Under-18s, a game which I mentioned to you earlier, what a game it was at the end. It finished Sunderland Under-18s 7, Leeds United Under-18s 5. Do not adjust your sets. It finished Sunderland Under-18s 7, Leeds United Under-18s 5. What a game it was there. And Leeds United, after that defeat, remain 8th. Sunderland now level on points with them. Leeds just 4 points. And so are Sunderland. And so are Derby. And so are Man United are 4 points behind second place Liverpool, with Blackburn top of the northern section in the Under-18 League. So with the action coming towards an end for this programme, then we'll be back with you a little bit later on when I run you through rest of the matches I've played at 3 o'clock. From all of the team here, thank you very much for listening. And from JB and myself, it's finished Millwall 1, Crystal Palace 2. Goodbye for now.